Okay, welcome everyone. This is the working group device management meeting from July 2nd. Please remember, this meeting falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct, which basically means be excellent to each other. So this is the European Asian friendly time zone, and we do have, I think, 2 cap offers today for consumable capacity and binding conditions. So we could talk about those, although I must point out that I really haven't had the time yet to look at your pending implementation PRs. GA graduation itself is in progress. I'm working on that. And overall, I suspect we are in the same place as in many previous code cycles. We depend on reviewers, and those are not available yet or busy with things they want to get done themselves, like I do with the GA graduation. So it's always a struggle to get reviews done, and we'll just have to be patient, I suppose. We can talk about today in the meeting, we can talk about specific things that you want to call out that aren't already in some PR comment or something that may help. Yeah, that's what I have, and not much in terms of status changes or something. Yeah, anyone? And of course, we can do our usual round of introductions. If anyone wants to speak up who hasn't been to these meetings and just wants to introduce themselves, now is a good time. Just raise your hand and floors would be yours. Otherwise, we can start talking about PRs. Okay. Pang, I see that you put yours into the agenda. So do you want to go first and call out anything that may be of interest?
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Yeah, I just want to note here that I pushed the PR for the implementations of the consumable capacity. However, this is my first time for pushing the PR to the KK repo, so I don't know much thing, and I also have some question related to that as well. Yeah, most of the test has passed except the link check for like I got an errors on map underscore something which is like generated fine. I don't know how to deal with that. If anyone know, I don't know. I trying to find the issue related to that. I didn't find some things make sense, but yeah, and like Nels mentioned that this is optional. I mean, like is not required, but I don't know what else I can do with this one.
Yeah, you can't.
Okay.
So I have it on the screen. I'm looking at that now. So linter hints. First thing to note is linter hints are just really things that may or may not be relevant. They are not enforced. It's okay to have a failing linter hints job. And sometimes people do that intentionally. Some of the suggestions are not always the right thing to do. In this case, I probably should update the linter configuration to not emit that issue, because we have in generated code. Well, first of all, generated code is typically excluded from linting. I don't know why it's not in your case. And for the naming convention, we also have exceptions. So yes, this is perfectly fine to ignore, and I can take a look and see whether I can make it go
Yeah,
away.
I found some option that like it can provide a pattern to ignore do not edit. I mean like any generated file that have like a do not edit keywords.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It should even.
could
I,
be.
I thought it was on, and apparently it isn't. But well, I can have a look
Okay, yeah.
at some point. For now, ignore it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um. Well, it looks like your PRs otherwise, except for that, fairly clean. let's look at your just commits also looks good. So API updates, I'm assuming this is with the types.go changes, generated
Yeah.
code, which is a commit you can usually just skip over as a reviewer because you know, and we trust our tooling to not put any malicious things into it. Of course, as a code contributor, you could abuse that and just make a small sneaky change here. So reviewers still need to look at this list of files and see what that's actually only generated files. But yeah, not that I would assume that you would try to do something like that. But at some point, someone might try a supply chain attack and sneak in something. Scheduler, well,
And yeah,
yeah.
I would
And
like to
that last commit is basically something that you can, as far as I'm concerned, can squash into the other commits.
here. I
Yeah.
separate ones, just only like to separate from what is not in the cap, and so that after
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
expect there will somehow some chain of the API request. I mean, like, because in the cap there's still like some discussion left, and I haven't like put that in the cap yet, so I put it
Yeah.
here. And like any further request chain for the API, I will put it here first. And before I mean, after everything is set up, I mean the API is already fixed, I will just move it to the first one and regenerate.
That's actually a good idea. Yes, thanks. Yeah. I should also call out that related to your cap, I have opened an issue on the API machinery problem that we have with maps and keys in maps. So this one here.
Oh, okay.
No comments yet so far. Oh, actually, nice. Liggett has, Jordan has a personal dashboard apparently, and it looks like he has this on his radar of things to work on, which is a nice visibility. Let's see actually what, yeah, quite a few things to work on. I'm not that organized, but I do have my own private list too. So that's related to your, let me just put the link here. That's related to your cap, because if we can fix the API machinery to allow adding new keys to an existing map, then the API becomes simpler and nicer. We basically would do what we originally proposed and then couldn't do because of the API limitations. Well, but we'll have to see. It is one of those things that I urgently want to work on, but I haven't had the time yet.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the decision. I don't know what to do, but yeah,
Yeah,
based
you can't do anything. You probably shouldn't even
okay.
try to just stick what we have right now, and even if it's our plan B, it's what works right now. So yeah, we'll have to see.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the other, let me just get the link. The other PR that was raised is binding conditions. We can talk about that now, but I don't really know what the status is. Let's just open it and see. I know that it has been updated a few times. So first thing that stands out is numbers of commits. I think that PR can be squashed.
Okay.
Basically use the same structure as you saw on the other commit. First commit is API changes, just for types.go. Relate anything that is needed to, yeah, basically implement the API. So validation, REST, well, I don't know, you probably don't need any REST changes, but anything that is related to the API implementation goes into the first commit. we can go back to the other PR, and that gives us a list. Just a second. No, that's wrong. This one. So just looking at the file lists in the first commit, that's basically the types.go is the main one, conversion, that because that's something that sometimes has to be written manually. Validation, feature gate in this case, because yeah, feature gate is something that you also have. Strategy, all of these are all the API implementation things that need to be reviewed by an API reviewer. And if they have a PR with a commit like this, they can just review this commit and see that the API implementation is fine. Then second commit, generated code. Third commit, then the actual logic based on that API. And that is mostly the scheduler. I think in both cases, tests for the feature also go here. Yeah, so that is something that could be done in this implementation right now, because otherwise the only way to review this PR is to go to the file, it's changed, and then skip over all the generated files. It's doable, but it's nicer if it's separated into different commits. And the one downside is that you can't actually check out the first commit and build it and run. Well, you might be able to generate files, but you can't run anything unless you complete the generation. So basically, how APIs get implemented, you just do the types.go, generate some code, make some further changes, generate code again, like the open API definition, and eventually you have a set of changed files, and then you just pick manually which files go into which commit. In this PR, I would just basically reset everything and then create commits with the right files, and that's it. Make sense? Yeah. And as I said on Slack, I haven't really looked at the changes yet in terms of whether it's complete or what might be missing. But I think if you know about things that need to be done, then just don't bother waiting for review feedback. Just go ahead with your best guess on how it should be done, and just make it ready for when someone has time to review.
Yes. Okay. So my task is discuss the commits and
Yeah. Well, just clean up the commits. That's the first step, and then
yeah.
look at the things that you have and try to figure out whether anything is missing. Address those gaps. If you are, and you can also what also may be useful. So I see that we do have some pending commits pending comments. See whether any of the comments still apply. Close those that don't, or ask whether they still apply. And if you find anything that you want to discuss, it's also fine to comment on your own PR with questions. That also may help to guide the discussion, or if anything is potentially questionable, add comments as in the PR explaining why the code is the way it is, so that when someone reviews the code, they basically don't need to ask. That's also a proactive approach that can streamline an implementation review. Yeah. So that's as I said, I don't know how much of that applies currently to the PR. It's just overall guidance, something that I found useful as a contributor and as a reviewer.
So, okay.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to discuss in the meeting today, or was it just overall question about reviews and status? Okay. No, then, well, we could make it a quick meeting and just close early. Do we have any other topics, anything that we want to discuss today? Okay, doesn't sound like it. And thanks for joining. Thanks for bringing up these things. Thanks for doing these PRs. It's certainly useful, and don't be discouraged by the lack of feedback. Unfortunately, that's normal. I wish it wasn't, but people are just too busy. So hang in there. We'll get something done. I hope. And thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.